That's why you went for Skid Row, and then you accidentally found a yabiche.
I stumbled upon a yabiche. No.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Navajo Tea Time. And this topic is something I like talking about, something Adrian likes talking about, and it's Halloween and fall traditions and festivals and activities and ghost stories and scary stories.
Yeah,
and
love Halloween.
all those things. But we're going to focus mainly on the indigenous aspect of the fall season, because I feel like a lot of the Halloween-centric themes are very European.
Paganism, Druids, all of those European holidays that are linked to like jack-o'-lanterns and vampires. You know, it's not
Native American.
yeah, it's not indigenous to our environment. So, you know, we have a different perspective. You know, we've been on this continent, you know, an ocean away, celebrating this time year by year, and we have our own themes, and we have our own version of scary stories too. So that's what we're going to talk about today.
And I guess to start off with Navajo October, Gajin.
Really put your heart into it.
You mean my? It's the Navajo New Year. It's like where we start our year instead of like in the middle of winter or the end of winter. It's the beginning of fall is when our new year is. Adrienne has a little excerpt that she can read.
All right, so this I got off the internet. Southern Navajo Nation News posted this up, and I think it's really, it's a good explanation. It's comprehensive. So, Ganja Bahojan. So that's like, hey y'all, we're starting the new year. Just kidding. All right, in Dinepazad, Ganja translates to back to back, namely, when the white of winter and the yellow of summer meet, turning their backs to each other. White of winter to precede the yellow of summer to retract its steps. In the White Mountain Apache dialect, October translates to Ganja, which is really interesting. One little note, if you're not aware, Apache language and Navajo language, they both fall under the Athabascan set of languages. So
they're like sister languages. They broke off from each other from the same source.
So it reads, it continues, lying side by side when yellow summer and white winter lay side by side. The symbol is Naashje. It's like tarantula. So that's what I'm gonna be this Halloween. I'm gonna be a tarantula. Ew. Okay, so the 9-night chant and other nightly ceremonies have and will commence in October. So, for example, right now the Northern Navajo Nation Fair in Shiprock, Arizona is happening right now this weekend, and that's when the first yabiche dance usually occurs. And then next week is going to be the Western Navajo Fair in Tuba City, and that's where another yabiche is going to commence. And so it's really cool because all the community comes out and everybody's welcome to attend. And it's one of the rare times when a lot of people from outside tribes and people who are not Native American can attend and experience the ceremony to the full extent. So that's kind of cool. Okay, let me finish reading. At this time, Mother Earth is also welcoming all living things back under her covers, so they cannot be harmed by the harsh, cold winter. The grizzly, black bear, snakes, lizards, and insects are preparing to hibernate. For our ancestors, Ganja was a crucial time to go hunting. The wild game yearlings were hunted for their tender meat. The older game animals were hunted for their hides. Plants, nuts, and herbs were also gathered and stored. The snow geese and Canadian geese from the north are now headed south, and with them will follow the sickness and coldness of Nahakos. That will plague the people until springtime, when the geese take it back up north with them. So, happy Dinan New Year. And so this was posted by again by Southern Navajo Nation News on Facebook. And the accompanying photo, if you're to go online and look at it, was painted by Wallace Begay from Talani Lake, Arizona. So
we'll have a link of the post below in the little description section.
Yeah.
So that's really interesting. With the Yebiche dances, those are the ones thing I hear about. I never grew up traditional, so I never participated in any of them. But my Nellie, which is my grandmother on my dad's side, she goes to them all the time, and then I just like wake up, and then she comes home with a bunch of like soda pops and bags of chips and candies and everything. So it was really exciting when she came back from them.
Like Yebiche, I started going a few winters ago with my husband, and it was a life-changing experience because I didn't realize how tough it would be to, you know, stay the whole night and participate. So I would, when we first went, I was really scared, like going into the Hogan, not knowing what to expect, not knowing if I would be welcome. But he was like, let's go, you know, you don't have to feel that way, you know, these are your people, and we're all here for the same purpose, for healing. And so we went in and, you know, we sat with the singers, and I started to pick up the language there in the Hogan, which is really interesting because if you had been watching our channel for a while, you know that I never really could consider myself fluent in Navajo. It wasn't my first language, so it's been a learning process for the past few years. But that was where I started to pick it up. And in the last episode, I was talking about like my tongue unwinding, and that's what it felt like. I would go in and I would pray about it, saying, you know, help me to understand, help me to absorb these songs because I want to sing, and I didn't know how to sing before, and now I can, which is awesome. And it's been a really good journey, and that was the first time that when I was in the Yebiche, I was able to try some of our traditional foods and really observe the ceremonial process. And it was also the first time I felt so embraced by our community and by my relatives. I really hadn't felt that before, so it was a really good experience for me. Do you want to add to that?
The only thing I have about Yebiches is that my grandma, my Shamasane, on my mom's side, she was telling me she never used to go regularly either, and then she went to one when she was younger, and it kind of freaked her out because there was this the shade or this thing built up, and there was a fire behind it, and the person who was being healed walked behind it, and then they lit the fire, so it just kind of exploded. And the way the shadow looked, it looked like they were being consumed by the fire, and that kind of confused her and freaked her out. So that's. But I was doing some research. I'll link the channel, the vlog below, and it said there's 4 different songs or stories that are sung at different ceremony, so they're like one song or story per ceremony. Their facts and their research was from somebody, I don't remember their name, but I'll have the links below in the description. But somebody some time ago did a really big, lengthy research and study on the Yebiche dances, and he was saying that this big volume I have here is only a fraction of what the knowledge I could absorb. And if I was to try and put everything down and everything out that every single person told me, there'd be like 5 or 6 of these large volumes. And even then, that's not all the information they know, because each person has their own stories, and they learn from somebody else who knows more than them, and there's always someone else who knows more, or someone else who knows something different. So it's a vast amount of knowledge.
Yeah, like every family, they have their own set of songs and ceremonies and stories, and so that's the beauty of the community coming together, is they're able to collaborate like that. And when you go to different ceremonies, you're able to pick up different pieces of the puzzle, basically. So it's really cool. Like, that's been my experience. And it's been really cool. Like, the first Yebiche I ever went to was actually at the Tuba City fair, and it was the year that Skid Row was performing, and so
That's why you went for Skid Row, and then you accidentally found a Yeba chain.
I stumbled upon a Yeba chain. No. So what happened was we wanted to go to the Yeba chain. I'd never been, and my husband was like, we should go. It's right here. You know, let's take the kids. So we showed up, and there was a little hogan where all the singers were, and then the dancers were outside. And along the dancers' arena space, there were like hundreds of people, like so many people. They had all these different fires going, and there, you know, people around them to stay warm, and the dancers were performing. But if you were looking out toward the east, you would see like the carnival, and you could see the Ferris wheel. You could hear people screaming on the yo-yo. And then on this side, you could hear Skid Row performing. It was so crazy. I was like, dang. Like, it was just a trip. Like, this is modern day, you know, Navajo life right here. It was just like the perfect juxtaposition of it. Of like, you know, different cultures coming together. So it was cool. But after that, you know, he took me to one that was actually, you know, not at the fair. It was a different experience, but it was still really cool. And it was amazing because, like, the thing that really, like, impacted me was hearing these songs that had been passed down from the holy people and have survived, you know, like hundreds, thousands of years, being continuously sung every summer for the continuation of our people, and then seeing the masks and, you know, the dancers, and that's the representation of our holy people, of Diandana. So I thought that was really cool, and every time I see it, it just like, I can feel it right here in my heart, you know. It's awesome. So yeah, that's my experience with the Yeba.
The most famous indigenous Halloween holiday is the Day of the Dead. You know, with like the two, the Coco and the Book of Life. Frankie's watching Book of Life on like repeat every morning. So that's like the most famous indigenous holiday.
I thought it's also the most appropriated, I think, too. You know, everyone likes the makeup, but they don't want to learn about the history. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, like there's still like that thin line of appropriation and appreciation. And I think with like Halloween, I think it's all appreciation except for those like generic, I call them, I had a book, it's called like the Celluloid Indian. And those are basically the image of a Native American or Indian portrayed on old Western films. So it's like a specific brand of like, this is Native American, but only in film. It's kind of like the transatlantic accent. It's a completely made up thing for film. Well, transatlantic accent isn't made up for film, but it was only used in film. And it's a completely, I don't know, manufactured idea and thing. So that's what I feel like people with the Halloween costumes emulate, is the celluloid Indian.
So this dress, I bought it because we were having a Halloween party at my house a couple years ago, and I wanted to dress up as Spider-Woman, and so I got this dress with like spider webs all over it, and I had like and I had my makeup all done like in spider webs. And I remember some people were like, that is really cool, but I could also see how some people might think it's offensive. Like, who do you think you are? You know? But I thought it was cool. You know, I had like weaving tools and everything, and it was just like a play on things. Has any of our viewers ever done that? What are some cool like Halloween themes that you guys have participated in? You know, comment down below.
Well, like that's like, I feel like Halloween is like the one time you can just show an annoying amount of appreciation for. And I think sometimes with us indigenous people, we just see the offensive. And like,
I think everybody sees the offensive in things. You know?
Yeah, well, like,
yeah, I know.
It boils people's bloods, but people sometimes have a hard time seeing another person's perspective. And I know, like, when I dress up for Halloween and I do something, it's because I have a great passion and admiration for it. And you kind of have to like put a mirror to yourself and like I'm dressing up this way, but am I trying to be offensive and I'm trying to make fun of? Like, no, I'm interested in this thing, and I find it very flattering and also, you know, like, interesting and something I want to show appreciation for. I had a friend in college, and her favorite Disney princess was Pocahontas, but, you know, she's blonde hair, blue-eyed, fair skin, but she just loved Pocahontas. She loved the story. So one day when she was younger for Halloween, she dressed up as Pocahontas. I didn't take offense for it because she's stated before how much she's loved that movie and loved the character. So it's kind of hard to just, like, get mad at everybody.
But you should get mad at
the costume designers, the costume stores. They're the ones who make it. People just buy it. You know, it's...
Yeah, I know. I was a part of that group that was all like, no native appropriation. You know what I mean? Don't dress up like Indians at your festivals or during Halloween. But I also hold myself accountable to that too, because I don't want to dress up like someone of another culture or race, because I think it's offensive. It's a personal choice. I'm not telling everybody to, you know, fall in line and follow me, but, you know, that's what I do. But I love Halloween. I freaking love it. It's my favorite holiday. I already started decorating. I was buying decor this summer. You know, like, I'm already planning our Halloween in our house. I love throwing parties. And, like, the parties that we had, they were so fun just because of the theme. Like, my friend Reese dressed up like Navajo T-Pain, and it was so funny. And we had, like, a dance contest, and she's all dancing, and, like, her flannel and her hat. It was funny. But, like, everyone dressed up, and, like, her brother, Derek, he dressed up like a werewolf, like, you know, like a shapeshifter. It was really funny.
Halloween for my family and me and my husband is very special because we got married on Halloween, and that's our wedding anniversary, so we kind of try and go all out. We break our bank every year for the past 3 years. This is our third.
Pumpkins everywhere.
No, it's not just pumpkins. Like, we always plan this grand feast with, like, we have, like, candelabras and all these spooky Halloween dinnerware that we like to bring up.
Get you guys. That's awesome.
And so this year they came out with the Skyrim cookbook, and it's a game that me and my husband love to play. He also likes to play World of Warcraft, and one of our close friends is going to make all the food that we tagged, and like, we want this, and like this, so we're gonna have like a video game feast, and that's gonna be fun.
Nerd alert. Just kidding. But now, do you have any irrational fears now?
I don't know if it's like an irrational fear. Maybe it's like a subconscious stopper. But we started watching River Monsters. And ever since my family started watching River Monsters, we haven't gone to Lake Powell. We haven't gone to the Oak Creek or anything. But, like, you know, if you hear of, like, some of the river monsters in South America or the Congo, those things have teeth.
I heard there was, like a fish as big as a BW bug that lives down in Lake Powell.
Probably. It's big enough.
There are people that, my Nelly used to work there at the dam, and he said they saw it, but he was a big liar, so I don't know how much weight you could put in his word, but yeah. I don't know. Any irrational fears I have? I think I'm pretty fearless. Just kidding. No, like, I think I'm afraid of... Oh, I know what I'm afraid of. So we were, like, driving over the mountain last winter, and it was like crazy snowstorm, and I kept visualizing like these packs of wolves running like beside us, just waiting for us to break down or go off the road. And I know like there are not packs of wolves in that region, but in my mind I'm like, they're out there, like. And I couldn't sleep or relax, so I was like freaked out.
Well, we are rebuilding the wolf population, so who knows.
Yeah, I love wolves. They're awesome.
With, like, monsters and skinwalkers and Yanagloshis and stuff. Like, you hear them just being out there.
You hear them outside. Ew, just kidding.
You hear stories of them just being around, but...
On your roof.
Do they actually do anything?
Yeah, they scare you into having heart attacks. Okay, so what I heard is that they can get you sick. Like, if you get too close to them or you touch their things, like, they're cursed, you know, there's a witchery going on. And so if you touch their things or you come upon their things or you encounter them, they can bring all kinds of sickness and misfortune to you. That's the jinneh right there.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, I've never heard of, like, oh no, the Skinwalker, it turned into a coyote, and then it bit my arm and it ate my arm. That's
Yeah.
why I have no arm. I'm like,
I never heard a story like that.
like, do they actually attack people, or do they just make people sick and unhealthy?
They manipulate people, I think. That's what that's why, so what I was told is that it's people that don't have, like, people who do that, they don't have the courage to come up to you face to face and handle it. You know, whatever situation it is, whatever they're unhappy about, whatever the problem may be, rather than going up to you like woman to woman or man to man and be like, yo, I got a problem with you. You know, you did this, you did that, let's deal with it. Or, you know, like, let's find some kind of
Solution.
common ground or solution. Rather than doing that, it's like, oh, I'm going to put on my my mask, my costume, and go, like, scare you and torture you. And it's like, there might be a better way to do this. But, you know, that's like, I mean, that's what I've been told. But I don't like, and I've heard some really scary stories in my day. Like, my aunt told me a bunch of stories one time, and I couldn't sleep for 2 weeks. I had nightmares. Yeah, I was a kid, but, you know, being a kid, you're just like, you're afraid of everything.
Yeah.
So, like, one thing is, like, you shouldn't talk about it. You shouldn't say that word or say that name, because what it does is it draws it to you. You know how they say, like, if you talk about death, it brings it closer to you, or if you talk about, you know, misfortune, same thing, same concept. But and I don't know, I kind of think it's true, only because one time I was with a group of people. We were doing a solar install. It was like this big trip down to Monument Valley with this company, and they were like, hey, you were telling us that there's some really scary stories, you know, like from Navajo. Do you want to share any? And she was like, oh, I don't know, maybe Adrian can. And I was like, I don't know. Like, I was told not to say anything, like talk about this stuff at night, or, you know, when you're not at home, or like at all, or on video. I'm just kidding. No, but I was like, I don't know. And I was like, oh, well, okay, I'll tell you a story. You know, I have a story. So I started telling the story, and they're like captivated. You know, everyone's like, oh my god. So I was driving my truck, and everyone was in the cab, and we're like cruising, and I'm telling the story, and they're kind of like getting freaked out. Anyways, it was all dark. There was no moon that night, and it was super pitch black, and all we could see was, you know, the light in front of us. So as I was telling the story, we all saw something kind of. There was a road that went like this, and on this road, we saw something kind of like approaching fast, and then it like peeked out. Like, it didn't just, like, you know, like an animal would.
Mm-hmm.
It like peeked out, and then it went back down. Oh shoot. And it was like, did you see that? We're like, oh my god. And we were freaked out, and I was like, I'm not telling any more stories. Because that's what they say happens. Like, you bring it to you. So story time was over. They were thoroughly freaked out, and now we have something to take with us.
You know, you bring it, you put that energy out there. You're talking about it. You're calling for it. So it's answering you.
Mm-hmm.
The babies are fighting, if you can't hear them. My mom and her husband are trying to wrangle them together.
Aw, poor thing.
With me, for my experiences with ghosts, I have none. I've lived in a place where my roommates said they've experienced ghostly things. They've had things knocked over. They've felt people talking to them and touching them and bothering them. And I'm like, I don't feel nothing. I don't hear nothing. Nothing bothers me. Crickets.
You're all protected.
Crickets.
Hey.
With me, that's how it is. And, like, they always say, like, oh, well, it was really scary being in that apartment because, you know, these would happen, this would happen, and that. And I'm like, nope. Doesn't happen to me.
Yeah, I know some pretty crazy ghost stories.
Yeah, no, like, I don't think they're not real.
Mm-hmm.
I just know I repel them like a bug repellent.
Yeah. I mean, there's some crazy ghost stories about the Chiba City boarding school, the old buildings, and all the stuff that happened there. Because, like, back in the day,
boarding schools weren't nice.
Yeah, and like there were certain facilities too that were used as hospitals, so naturally like people died there.
Mm-hmm.
This summer I was telling them Bigfoot stories, like Sasquatch stories,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, really creepy about it and like scaring them, and it was really fun. But yeah, I don't know. I kind of get a thrill out of it all, so I don't let the fear consume me or dictate any of my behavior.
It's like jumping off, base jumping, or a
Yeah.
bungee jump. It's that adrenaline rush that
Yeah.
some people like.
Yeah, I'm totally down for the adrenaline rush, but
Yeah.
I don't ever like act out of fear. You know what I mean? It's like be brave, be strong.
You can't control how people act, but you can control how you act.
Yeah, like my Che, he was known as being like really brave, and my mom was telling me this story. It's like a Yenna story, ew. But she was saying that they had come to their hogan. My mom grew up in a hogan, and she said that they heard up on top of the roof, like there was footsteps up there, and then they saw something like peeking in, and so my Che got up really quietly, and he like walked over to the entrance of the hogan, and they had a blanket, and just as like something was peeking in, he like pushed it, and it flew back, and it was a person, and he like got after them like, get out of here, stay away from my family, like how dare you come to our home. And it was like going like this, like scooching back, like all freaked out.
Mm-hmm.
And he like chased them away. And when my mom told me that story, I was like, that's the kind of person I want to be. You know what I mean? Like, I want to be like that. I don't want to be like dictated by fear.
Mm-hmm.
So I have these stories that like inspire me to like be brave and not be scared all the time.
No, but like with ghosts, I think they're out there. Like, I'm pretty sure they're out there.
Yeah. I think
like
so
some
too.
of my family members, they can see ghosts.
Mm-hmm.
And they don't like going to the hospital.
Mm-hmm.
They hate having to go to the hospital, and they're like, I just don't like being here.
Mm-hmm.
Get my flu shot, but I don't want to be here. So I believe them. It's just I feel like I'm a ghost repellent. It's like I don't know why.
I know, that's why they say it's not good to give birth in a hospital, because a lot of people had passed on there. There's like a lot of sickness there, and your baby's being born into that. Mm-hmm. And so it's like a lot of very traditional people are like, no, we're not going to do that. And that's why babies were never born in those facilities. They were always born at home.
Just like the fall season, the different cultures and things. It makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Why they like would be so centric around death and spirits is because the earth is technically and literally dying, with like the plants and the animals going to sleep.
So harvest related questions and maybe scary stories from other tribes or different regions, like post them down below.
Or like traditions your family has during the fall holidays.
Oh, yeah.
Because I like drinking apple cider. I get the thing of cider, and then like at night I just put it in the microwave and heat it up, and I'm just like, fall.
Yeah, like we're gonna make pumpkin spice muffins this evening, and I'm all about like the apple cider. I really love caramel apple cider.
No, like harvesting. Like, do you guys plant? Do you have your own gardens? Do you guys have your own cornfields? Your own I want to say wheat fields because it sounds normal to say, but I know we don't have wheat fields out here. But maybe you do.
I've never seen a wheat field.
But do you guys enjoy the harvest?
Feast days are big in the pueblos.
Feast days.
Feast days, yeah. Like when the harvest comes in and they have these huge feast days. I know that's like happens in the fall, but yeah.
You're super excited.
It's exciting. Oh my god, the food, and then on Hopi too. Oh my gosh. I don't know if they have. Do they have dances in the fall? I know definitely in the summer.
They have dances definitely during the fair. I think they said they have like butterfly and buffalo dances.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and the food is so good. I'm all about it because like I used to get invited to the dances by my friends, and their moms would cook the best stews and the best dishes and all those fresh veggies. Dang, it was so good. But yeah, good times.
Kind of Stepford wife-y.
What do you mean?
They have to cook They have to get all this food prepped, and they have to...
Well, you gotta eat. Hello.
No, I know, like, you have to eat. You know, you gotta eat food, you gotta feed the dancers, but it's kind of Stepford Wivey, where, like, they take it super seriously. Culturally, they take it super seriously about cooking and preparing meals. I know, because I'm an in-law. I get a slight pass because I'm not a Hopi, but I always have to bring some. I don't have to bring something, but if I don't, you get those glares, you know? They're like, what are you doing here? Did you bring anything to eat?
What do you usually bring?
I like to prepare food from my German heritage.
Oh, like what?
Pastries. I brought scones. For Frankie's baby naming, I made scones, and I made turnovers and fudge, and these little delicious walnut muffins. And everyone's like, "This is so delicious."
Awesome.
But I think recently everyone really liked this chili I make, the chili beans. So maybe I'll just make that. It's super easy to do. So.
Yeah, people say I make really, really good mutton stew. So I'm pretty proud of that because, like, I've taken it to a couple ceremonies, and I swear, like, people are just like, dang, this is really good. And I was like, oh, thank you. It's made with love. Anyway, so what's the tea? What's the tea regarding Halloween? And I mean, besides, like, Native appropriation and, I don't know, like, ghost stories being taboo and death being taboo.
I think the tea that could be around Halloween is just the amount of candy that's consumed.
Oh, dang.
You know, with the Navajo Nation's...
Tampa rant here. Just kidding. This is what you came for. Just kidding.
You didn't answer my question, so I'm going to talk about it now. Like, the candy issue with the parade, and people were getting really mad about it, and I think, like, you know, it's nice that they're trying to control people's sugar intake and the candy and the glorification of sweets and stuff like that, but also, just like all the prohibitions ever, it doesn't work. You know,
yeah,
you outlaw alcohol, and now there's all these underground alcohol gangs in the 20s, but then we can relate that back to
today
to the Navajo Nation. There's bootleggers, and it's really dangerous, and they destroy the community, you know, but they're thriving in such a way because it is outlawed. And I think there's that little thing in the back of a rebellious young adult's mind where it's like, we're not supposed to do it, so let's do it. And with the candy, it's like, is it the government's job to tell us how to eat? You know?
No, it's not.
And it's like, you know, it's just kind of that thing. And, like, I hate that people love Piccadilly so much. It's so bad for you. And
or hot Cheetos. It eats your stomach lining and gives you ulcers. Yeah, my kids are not allowed to eat hot Cheetos. We do not buy pickles at the store.
And you make your
candy.
Own pickles?
No.
You should try it.
No. Sounds like a lot of work. Just kidding.
You just
no.
Put it in a jar.
Really?
Well,
do you add, like, sodium? Or does it?
You can add whatever you want.
It's naturally occurring. Oh.
It's mainly vinegar.
Yeah, I've never made my own pickles, but that sounds like fun.
Maybe we'll have a Navajo Tea Time pickling edition.
You know what? So one of our viewers wanted us to make blue corn cake for our treats for our next episode.
That sounds perfect.
And
for
so
November.
yeah, so we didn't make it this time, but next episode I think we should make some blue corn cake muffins and stuff. And she gave me the recipe.
Okay.
So thank you, Anjali. Shout out to you, and thanks for watching Navajo Tea Time. So regarding candy, though, like, my kids, I have this rule where that's the only time they're allowed to have candy. Otherwise, I'm, like, taking it from them. And even then, I'll sift through it, and if I think something's really bad for their teeth, I will take them out and get rid of it. And it's really, my husband, he's like, I call him a Woolagina because he's really, like, strong, but he's small. And he loves candy. He's, like, addicted to sugar. And so he's like, who threw out the candy? I'm like, I did. He's like, I think the kids threw out the candy. I'm like, it was me. But, like, yeah, it's funny.
No, because, like, my family, my dad had diabetes, my Nelly has diabetes, my grandma has diabetes, my cousin has diabetes. And so with Frankie, she was a sugar baby because I had pre-diabetes, gestational diabetes when I was pregnant with her. And so I'm really trying to not eat so much candy, but that's my choice. That's me taking care of my daughter and taking care of myself. And it's not the government telling me I can't have candy.
I don't think it should be our government's place to tell us how to eat. I think it's nice that they're trying to be a good example. And I thought it was really funny. One of my Facebook friends was saying, I want to see the VP and the president walk in the hallway, since they're always talking about physical fitness and, you know, health on the Navajo Nation. And they did. And that was like, that's, you know, mad props. Good job.
Yeah.
You know, so I think leading by example is so important, but I think we need to do that in our own families and not feel like
be regulated
our
to
government.
do it.
Yeah, that's not cool. Like, I ain't down with that.
And you all need to get healthy for yourselves. You're gonna die.
That's the real tea, is you don't want to be all like, you know, destroying your teeth and your body for momentary satisfaction, you know. But I mean, it's all about balance, you know. Like, anything you do in excess can harm you. So you got to just be careful and find that healthy balance. But don't be so restricted where you're like feeling like you're oppressed or something, you know? Like, don't do that. But anyways, that's the tea. We're like not in favor of the candy ban.
It's not like we're not in favor of the candy ban. It's like, it's your choice to kill yourself by candy.
That is a really crazy way to say it, but you're right.
Hagonet, that's been Navajo Tea Time Halloween edition. Please like, share, comment your favorite Halloween tradition or something your family does special for Halloween. Hope to see you next time. Bye.